Good afternoon and welcome back to Planner Craft. So this afternoon I'm going to be taking you through some colouring techniques. So as usual, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Ian is manning it, so hopefully you should have a bit of an easier time today.
Yeah, so Tracy's here and Carol says I'm here, miss.
Okay, Tracy, Carol.
Tracy.
Dear, a few late starters today, honestly. Detention. So hopefully we'll get a few more people coming into the room. So I've printed my designs out on just some standard copier paper to begin with a laser printer. So I'm going to quickly do a little bit on these.
Keep over the ear there, okay.
Okay, so starting off with laser printing, one of the things that I wouldn't recommend you do is that you use alcohol inks because it can melt the toner unless you're very careful. So for a beginner, I'd stick to coloured pencils with laser, and with inkjet I would stay away from anything water based. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of coloured pencil work, and I'm going to... Which one should I colour in first? So you've got the girl, the hedgehog, the tiger, or the would-be tiger, the lion or the greyhound. Take your pick. Whoever answers first.
That's like Carol's mum used to run up the street slapping our bums. I'll clean that up. And it still hasn't come up in the feed. But I can read it on the screen now, which is better because...
Yeah. Okay, so it's missing a few on the...
Tiger.
Tiger, okay. So, from my Pro Colours, I'm going to start off with those. I'm going to pull out the Sunset Gold, the Deep Chrome, which is like an orangey colour, and I'm going to go for the brown ochre as well. And just for depth, I'm going to go right dark, but not black, and go for burnt umber. Okay, so if I hold those up to the close-up, you can see the kind of colour range that you are looking at, hopefully.
Tracy's asked, can you get small laser printers that don't take up space that I can hide in a corner and hubby won't see another printer?
Depends on how big you want to print.
And Carol says, I tried drawing a monkey which turned out more like a cross between an elephant and a monkey.
Oh well, we'll try our best.
And your mum's just joined us.
You're never going to get it right first time. I mean, even I struggle sometimes. Today was not a good day. So I'm just working in some really light little circles.
Your mum says, afternoon everybody.
And I'm just testing out the colours on my lion.
Only A4 size max.
I think the smallest was the little cannon we were looking at, but you pay more for it being little. So I'm just testing out some of the colours. So
I think it'll be better for foiling. You do get good results with the lasers and the foiling.
yeah. Yeah, so we were having a play at the weekend, weren't we?
We were.
So I'm going to go into my first stripe on my tiger, and I'm going in with the lightest colour, which is the Sunset Gold, which is like a pale yellow ochre. And I'm just doing a really light covering just to the middle of my stripe. So I've left the top bit bare and this bottom bit as well. So these two are going to be the darker section, so it's good to leave that little bit clear.
Yeah, do shop around, Tracy, because you can get some good deals. You just have to get them at the right prices.
I'm going to go in with my deep chrome. And again, I'm only working lightly. You don't need to press on, especially with these pencils, although they can take the pressure. You don't need to. Now, for his nose, because we want it to come forward and out, your darkest colour is going to be just above his nose. So you're almost going light, mid, dark, mid, and then his nose.
Do you want the close-up camera?
I'm not sure if it's going to help from there.
Okay.
Could almost do it coming over my shoulder. So I'm just going to flip this in from the top edge now. And just doing a light touch, because then we're going to go back to our deep chrome for our orangey colour. And we're just going to flick over the top. Patience is the name of the game. So if I hold that up close-ish. I think Ian's gone to get another stand to see if we can get the camera a little closer for you. So I'm going back to my Sunset Gold for the next stripe. Okay, I'm going to do a light covering. Going to this time go to the brown ochre, and I'm going to go in just at the darkest section at his nose, and again at the top. So the point of this stripe is it's supposed to be lighter, so don't be tempted to go too dark. We can always darken it later on, but now for this middle stripe I'm going to go to my burnt umber and just flick it in from the top.
I'm just going
Grab my deep chrome.
phone off.
What, they move it so you don't make people dizzy.
Yeah, I'm going to be experimenting for a minute.
Unscrew it, and then you can use your mount on there. So, right, release that off, put that down, like so. Then pinch the mount off the bottom of the other camera, the big camera. Unscrew that, and it's got the screw already in it. Do you want me to do that bit?
You do that while I find the other bit.
Okay.
Camera's not,
Oh,
it's not
weird
attached,
camera.
don't worry.
Excuse me while I just do this, just so you can get a slightly better view. There we go.
It's got the screw or the hole? Hole.
I got the hole, you've got the screw.
I got a screw.
Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of the darkest colour in the kind of in the inner bit of his ear. So where it joins his head, just here. I'm going to do the same this side. Just so that we get the feel that the ears are receding back from that head a little bit.
So where do you want it to look?
Literally right down there. As close as possible.
Hang
here. And I'm just blending this out now.
Working on that line.
Now I'm going to go back to my sunset gold, just to come over the top of the brow.
Usually get your arm in the way.
I can't be left-handed. We're gonna. Oh no! I don't want to have that foot that I just had.
What's that?
I could do with the camera that type and. I told you you didn't want it.
Let's see what that looks like on screen, because obviously you lot can't see this at the minute, so let's see how that looks.
So I'm just going to blend this down.
So I'm going back to, we don't laugh at people's comments but tries, we never do.
I have the occasional eyebrow raise, but that's what I get. I don't get the full marking. Okay. How that's doing.
Right, let's try that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need to rotate that so it makes sense to people.
There's a fingerprint in the middle of the screen. It looks like my colouring's in a totally different place to where it actually is from here. Anyway, so I'm just going to go back to my deep chrome, and I'm going to go in here to do this bit where the muzzle comes in.
That's probably as good as it's going to get.
You want to try and catch that a bit just in there. And I'm going to go in this time just because I need to tone it down a little bit around the edges with the brown ochre. So
Yeah, when she moves her hand it'll be better because you'll be able to see
Sorry.
a lot clearer. No, but at least it'll show when you've coloured in what you've actually done because it's zoomed in and it's a much better mount. I should have thought of that before.
Okay. So coming under the chin, it's going to go a bit darker, so we're going to go back to our burnt umber.
Did we lose you, Tracy? Or did you fall asleep?
Okay, so again, I just want to tone down this orange a bit more. He's still looking a bit like you've been tangoed. That's not good. Tigers are not orange. So hopefully you can start to see a bit of change going on. So again, this is going to be the dark stripe in here. So I'm going to go nice and dark in there.
Okay, you don't need to show to camera anymore because
Okay.
it picks it up.
And I'm going to go dark in there. It's just force of habit now.
No, there is a yellow stripe along the pictures. That's our printer being dense.
Yeah, it's in need of a new imaging unit, but it can dream on.
No,
It costs as much to get one of those as it does to replace the printer.
Yeah, it's not your eyes. You're alright. There is a yellow stripe across all the pictures. Yes. Yeah, not the Frosty is to replace that one now. We were looking at them the other day, weren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. We'd have to pay far more to replace them we ever paid to get them in the first place. So.
Yeah. Plus where we got that one from, we can't get them anymore because they've gone bust.
Yeah. So.
Probably why, because they were dirt cheap when we got them.
Same with the label printer though, isn't it? We got it on
Yeah.
a manager's special, didn't we?
Is that a Mr. Whippy?
Says.
Can't see. It sounded like it, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so because we want to bring this head forward, and you're going to put your darker colour around the outside, even though he's not actually that dark, you're kind of using it as a contrast and just bring him forward.
Mum asked, did you go and order a printer, Tracy?
So I've gone in with the orange and I'm going back to the brown to just kind of blend it out.
As we do.
Why?
Oh, I was thinking about.
I'm just going to come in here and do some orange as well. So you just want to soften this edge in here because we are looking at rounded forms.
Request on a defective product.
Hmm?
A request on a defective product.
Okay. Going back to the sunset gold. And now we can start to use a bit of pressure behind our head. We'll go back lighter again, and again we want it to sit behind, so we're going to go in with our darker pencil. Just draw a little triangle, then we're going to blend it back with our orange.
Tracy has no money for anything else at the moment. I know that feeling. I think we all do at the moment.
Yeah, we're just desperately trying to make the laser printer last as long as it can before it pegs it. So
it doesn't always do it, does it?
No, and the reason we haven't done the foiling video yet is that we can't rely on it to do a consistent print, can we?
No.
So although one Sunday I was doing 100 black, 100 cyan, 100 magenta and 100 yellow, it was still coming out as if I put it in draft. And even when we said put the maximum amount of toner down with the maximum resolution, it was still coming out like stripy, almost, you know, like when your inkjet's running out. I think it was coming out like that, so.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, yeah.
Yeah, we're only buying things that are absolutely essential, aren't we? So. Got a little bit of fluffy, so we've done kind of almost like a oval action, so you get a bit of texture, as well as doing smoother blending for the face. So if I show you on something a bit bigger, let's go for, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the teddy bear. And I'm sure Mum will tell you whose stamps these are, because I stamped these at Mum's a long time ago, and they've been sat there waiting for me to do colouring and hasten to wear. So I'm going to start off with the same colours, so we can start to see again. So I'm going to try and work as far back down the pencil as possible so you can see what I'm doing, which is always interesting.
Oh God.
What?
And Tracy's got a broken washing machine and a stove that she can't use.
What is it about washing machines? Because Sarah's washing machine's gone kaput, hasn't it? And she can't get it fixed. So I'm just putting the light touch of colour over.
Can't complain about a house a lot down. Very true. Yeah.
And now I'm going to go to the brown ochre. And I'm going to go round the outside. So even if you didn't go right up to the edges the first time, that's okay. And we're just going to go lightly. I can't get me.
Lighty.
Lighty?
Lighty.
Lighty with my lighty. And I'm just going to bring that round. Can you see that okay if I do that like that? Or do I need to?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've still got most of your hand, but it's better. Yeah. We can actually see you colouring it.
Okay. And again around these edges. Because your teddy bear has form, he's round, he's not flat. And same when you're working round underneath his ears. He's round, so yeah, you still have to shade. And that helps. Poke his ears back on your head.
Then we have the internet to watch us guys.
I'm just going to blend that upwards, and I'm only going a little bit up his ears with this dark colour. Okay, now I'm going to come in with the orange, and very lightly, very lightly, I'm going to go just over the top of his nose and bend it out this way too. I'm going to go back to my lightest colour, which is my sunset gold. And there's literally next to no pressure in this. So you want to keep the lightest colour for the foremost bit of your face. Now, do we think he looks like a boy bear, or do you think she looks like a girl bear? So we'll decide I'm going to keep on going and just building up the colour. So now I'm going to come back to this triangle down here and down here and just start to deepen this up a bit.
Such as Mr. Ted E. Bear.
Okay. So
Very
you
good
could
choice.
be boy bear. Now if I go dark now, you'll probably see that this is way too dark, but we'll see how we go. We're going to go lightly.
I also go. Fight. No.
I'm just going to come under this nose because that's where the most shadow would be. Okay. So we've got an argument over whether it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, go unisex.
Okay. I'll just give a little hint of a pink cheek then.
Go green.
Yeah. I'm just going in with pink very softly. It won't make too much difference from this one. It will blend the colours a bit. Now I have to say, this has got to be the oddest position ever, because that could be 2 feet and his hands are out to the side and he's kind of going, or that could be his feet and he's got his arms and he's pushing down.
I think the big ones are his feet. and the two on the outside of his hand.
It depends on what you see, doesn't it? That's weird. Because it's like, oh, okay. So, I'm going to go back to my lightest colour again.
So you really enjoy colouring, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, if I could spend my life colouring, I'd be well away.
Therapeutic.
Yeah. Mind you, that's what you used to tell the kids I did for a living, wasn't it? Colouring. When I was doing technical drawings and stuff, I was colouring it apparently.
You still used to colour them in, didn't you? Did you not used to colour them in?
Yeah. I used to colour in side plans and do, artistic impressions, but it's still not colouring in. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same over here, so go to my lightest colour.
And Tracy thinks the other way. The round parts for his paws, you think?
But it's weird because if it's his paws, then his shoulders are up round his head, and yeah. It's just a bit of a weird design.
It looks like he's doing a sit-up.
I'm just going to blend this in.
Yeah, you can tell because you seem so relaxed.
Sorry, my hand's in the way there. Let me change that. There we go. So, if we think that this is his arms, we're going to go back to our lightest colour. Does make a difference which it is.
Paws on his feet. It's a tough one, isn't it? Like you said.
Yeah. As I said, if this is his arm, then you do it like a little cylinder. So you go dark around that side and dark around this side. You get like a little sausage. And you can maybe even go a little bit darker on one edge. Suggest which way the light's going. Spin that in a bit. But then if it's his foot, then you do it flatter. So you kind of go like that. And gonna come in, go over the top. It's a good job I have a couple of these bears. So he's going to look very odd little bear now because he's got one arm and one foot. And you could
Doing a Brucey bear.
do a pad of his foot like so. And he sat there then and so it's which side he thinks right, so there we go. So there's his arm and his foot. Or there's the foot and his arm, depending on how you look at it. And we're going to go into his belly, and I'm just going to do a very quick covering of the lightest colour. Going with a little bit of the darkest colour right at the top of his belly, and then we're going to go for a much larger dark section down here. And then we can go right dark, and bend it all the way back. So his little piggy belly sticks out.
So it says it's twisted bit.
Mm. There we go. I'll put my little bit of pink in his ears. And little burr. So which way do you all think now that you've seen that? Do you think arm or foot? Because I think, hence I've done foot. Oh, excuse me. So that was using the Derwent Pro colours. And let me just pin that out of the way.
Probably don't use that one anymore now. Just use that one maybe.
I'm going to poke those in there for a sec. And I'll probably end up rejigging them, but
Because that mount fits so much better on there like that.
okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was ink. So whether you are using ink in your scan and cut or whether you are stamping, there's a few things that you want to look for. Okay, so these were stamped with Versaline off the top of my head, and Mom can correct me if I'm wrong. So this is a water-based dye ink, so therefore that it's meant for using with alcohol inks. So I have a few here that I've brought in.
Carol said his feet were at the back. Tracy said I think he's a cute yellow and brown bear.
And I'm going to go for, let's go for the little seal. So I'm just going to colour in a little bit of pink just to start with. That's going to be his little cheeks. And it's only going to be the softest pink with this one. And I might just colour in a little bit more. Just there. I can always blend it out. So blend it out. Now when that's drying, I'm going to go for Cool Grey 3, and I have a colours blender here, and a Cool Grey 7. So theoretically, the 7 should be the darkest colour. 2.
Oh dear. Tracy gives a seal of approval on that. Lol.
And there we go. I'm just literally flicking my brush and my flex marker over the darkest colour. Okay. And you can even almost go back to that pink to blend it. I'm just going to go over the top. Back to the colour flex. And flick it again. And finally, I'm just going to tidy up anywhere that needs it. A bit of the Cool Grey 7. And there we go. We have our little seal. The thing with doing any kind of work with alcohol inks is to not panic, because it will come together eventually. It may just take a few layers. So I'm just going to go straight in with my darkest colour. And because this leg is at the back, it's going to be darker, so we can just literally go straight in with our cool grey 3. And then go back to my 7. Finer end is easier, unless you're working with big areas. I'm just going to... Also, don't be afraid to rotate your work. Don't feel like you have to kind of struggle to get the angle right for your brush. I'm just going to go back in with my lip blush, just to blend that in. Now, your colourless blender is good for your really pale colours, but where you're looking at blending in a mid-tone like this, you're better off going to a marker that has a little bit of colour in it. So I'm just going to go in here.
Can you use a paintbrush with the alcohol inks?
You can with the refills, if you have them. You can't really do it with the pens. If you want to do something like that, you're looking more so at your clean colours, or the Arteza real brush markers.
If you put some alcohol into, like you...
Well, that's what the alcohol palette's for.
Mm.
There we go. And just going to put a little bit on the end of his tail, and again we can go back to our really soft pink and blend it back. So we have our little seal and clink. Let's go for... need something with a bit of colour. Let's go for... I'm just going to do a quick test for colour.
Okay, Tracy says I have alcohol ink bottles coming soon.
Oh.
Got them from Mother's Day, so what's the best way to work with them?
Yupo paper or coated paper. Then you can splodge with them and be really random, or you can brush them to a certain extent, or you can even get yourself like a Tim Holtz does like what's the word? Like what we used to have for the felt tip pens, the little puffer things.
Oh, like the air blower type thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I've swatched my pens just so I can see roughly where I'm heading. So we can see that the warm grey is actually the lightest colour. So although it's grey, it's still useful for blending. And let's go for the little deer. So I'm going to go in literally around there.
Is that we could use things like your alcohol lift ink as well?
Yeah. Yeah, alcohol lift inks are quite a fun one to play with. So I'm going to go round underneath and down over the top. And we can go back to our soft pink. There's a little blend for a minute. And I'm going to come in with a little pink because we're going to have a little girl, even though it's got antlers, but yeah.
Zena's joined us and Erica has joined us as well.
Okay.
Come say hello.
Hello, hello, hello. come back in, and I'm going to add a bit more of this mid-ground where it's washed out a bit. You can kind of come out there.
One of the bottles was a blending solution.
Oh yes. We'll have fun. My advice would be though, go really careful that you don't inhale. The fumes are actually quite really not good for you. I know that there are some videos on the internet that will tell you that you can mist it. Please don't. It's really not good for you. I believe the Copic one, however, is safe to mist.
Does that just depend on brand?
Yeah. Okay, so I have my first bit of my body, and I'm just going to go in with my middle colour, and I'm going to go all the way over. Now what I love about alcohol pens is that they don't streak like a felt tip pen would. They'll bleed, which is a little bit annoying on occasion, but you can fix it. But they'll always give you a lovely flat colour. So I'm going to go in with the darkest colour under his little belly. I'm going to go back to my middle colour and blend that back out again. I'm going to go around underneath here. And blend that back out too.
So she's going to check the branches. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. I'm going in with the darkest colour because obviously these legs are at the back. But then I'll use a little touch of the mid colour just to blend it in at the end. And it just makes it look a little bit like you've added a shadow. And finally, just going to go in with the black just to finish off his little feet. Go for a lighter stripe. I'm just going to flick it from his nose back over his head, and you'll get like a blend. And the same here. Just going to flick it.
Paper mill alcohol inks.
I don't know this one. I'm just going to put a little bit of a mid-colour brown just to blend in.
Yeah, I'll swap the pictures back for a bit as you're doing that bit. It's easier to see. And your mummy asked me to. Your mummy asked me to switch the camera back.
Oh. Was it too close, Mum? I'm just gonna so, and my pen's slowly running out, but it's a Copic, so I'm not letting go of it. You can get re-inkers for them, so.
You're saying that when you colour, you're blocking what you're colouring, so you can't really see what you're doing.
Sorry, I'm trying not to. Desperately trying not to. So I'm just going to pop it in, a little bit of colour just up that edge, just to help that little antler stick out. Okay. Should we go for a bunny next? Let's go for little pink cheeks. And gonna go over the top. Turn it round so hopefully you can see that a bit better, and I'm going to flick it. Sorry, I know I'm probably in the way there, but I just want to catch that edge. There we go, and flick it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of the dark brown just at the base of the ears. And the Copic I'm using is E21. Just going to blend that in.
It looks like they're similar to the Indira Dax.
Cool. Cool, because I like mine doing that. So I'm going to give him the tiniest touch just under his chin. And I'm going to blend it up.
Now, alcohol inks are bright, vibrant pigments that dry fast and be used on almost any non-porous surface. Every colour is permanent, acid-free and transparent. They all mix well together when combined with the paper mill blending solution. The magical colour is the ultramarine. And the magical colour that is ultramarine is naturally a rich dark blue which doesn't lighten too much when mixed with blending solution. However, when it dries, a shining golden sheen can be seen on the surface of the paint.
That sounds a bit lush. No.
They went down to $1.99 a bottle instead of £8 a bottle on clearance. Whew. You got to snap those up, haven't you, when they were that price? What do you say, do you?
There we go, little bunny. So, very quickly, I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. Just a quick drink.
I'm trying to think of other places I can put cameras so it's a better.
The obvious one is here, but you'd have to move the trolley.
I'd have to get like a cable.
Yeah. Yeah, or you need to lower this one. Anyway, can I have a piece of white stamping card, please? So I'm just going to take these.
Dollars, yeah.
Yeah, a little jigsaw. Did you say pounds? Did you?
I did, yeah. I knew what I meant, Tracy.
Even if nobody else in the world does. I was going to say, it's right there.
A fresh pack.
Privilege. Okay. Those two over there. show you a few different inks that we can use for stamping. So I'll try and make a note of these as I go, otherwise I'm never going to remember. So the first set of stamps I'm using is by Hunky Dory, and they're really cute little critters. So for this first one I'm going to go for the fox. And I'm going to go in with the Memento ink for this one. So whereas before we were using the VersaFine, Memento ink is archival. It's still water based.
The tuxedo black, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we'll do between, I know it's there somewhere.
Oh, yes.
There we go. So Memento. And that's the tuxedo black. And I'm going to do a couple of impressions of this one.
Clean stamp that one, doesn't it?
I love these stamps. So next we have our little bunny, and we're going to load our bunny up with hybrid ink. So this one is Jane Davenport's Squid ink. So it's like a cross between a pigment and a dye.
Trista, have we ever tried making our own stamps with the polymer and not with a scanning cup?
Yes. Yes, I have a stamp making kit. The only problem is trying to get refills for it. So yes, we did company logos, didn't we? We did the dancers. Actually, there's a picture up on, I think it might be on Ian's Instagram, of the notepad that I did with them. Because he's spoiled, really. Wouldn't admit it. So, Lady Squid ink.
There's a lady on YouTube apparently called, careful how I read this, Creating Spain.
Yeah.
And she has loads of videos, actually doesn't seem that hard to do.
No, it's dead easy. As I said, the only issue is getting hold of the
Gel packs.
But it's all down to timing, and it has a timer in the kit, and off you go. And next we're going to go, where is it? And I'm going to go, don't know.
Somebody's garage somewhere.
Yeah. So, next little foxy image, we're going to go for, would you like me to do the VersaFine as a control? Just say, control. So next I'm going to go for the alcohol proof dye from Spectrum Noir. me to do a video with a lift of ink, just let me know and I'll do that as well. Yes, get those tips. And we have one bunny that we haven't used yet, so let's use the bunny. So finally we have the waterproof die, which is exactly what it says on the tin. So bear in mind that once it's on your stamps, it stays on your stamps. I swear it cleans more than Stay-On does. It's the waterproof.
So you're having a look at your Instagram later. Just put the link up for it. You can find it.
But yeah, it's simple to do. It's just getting hold of the supplies at the moment. I did think I'd found somewhere to do it, but they only have there's like an embossing one that you can get for it, which I was quite interested in, but it wasn't what I was looking for, so I was trying to be good. So I was just allow those to dry for a moment. Could you just pass me a water brush, please, Ian?
Okay, that.
A water brush.
Right, is that one okay or?
Yeah, because it needs water in it. So whenever you first have an ink pad, it's a good idea to do a quick swatch. And I have a colourless blender for the alcohol, and I have a water brush for the water. So it would be very rare that a colour pencil was smudged in ink, so I don't tend to test those, but the two, the alcohol and the water, I do. So I go into the Memento. I'm going to literally go across the line and see if it bleeds. Try to go for water over the top. And you can see it starts to lift a little by comparison, but not much. Squid ink. And you'll note I'm going for a really detailed section as well. Yeah, it's coming out with water. So that one's actually quite a good one for water. Might use that one in a minute. So now on to Oliver Fox's tail. So this is the alcohol resistant one. So this shouldn't smudge at all. However, it will probably react with water. Yeah. That one you can see it really does lift off with water. So I'm just going to blot that one. Just shows how much water I was putting on the Jane Davenport one. And finally, our Spectrum Noir waterproof. So it is waterproof, but is it alcohol proof? Oh, the blender is still clean, but your line is starting to bleed. And as you would expect with something that's marketed as being waterproof, you can water over it fine. It's interesting to see which ink comes out on top out of all those, isn't it?
So which one do you prefer?
The Jane Davenport one comes out top because it can use both without. I mean, I really went for it on that water one.
some squink.
Some squidink.
I said squink.
So let's choose a few watercolor pencils to play
Still
with.
5+3, sweet.
Okay.
Not
Gonna
rushing,
go
just
for
telling you.
little brown bunny rabbit. I'm going to go in with some watercolor pencils, so these are different ones. And I'm just going to pop in a little bit of colour just down here. You can see just how much water there is in this brush, and it's just not even budging that ink. That's cool. You can also get white in the squid ink, which I was using the other day, and you can do some really cool effects with that and the distress oxides.
It's got a few colours in the squid, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got the gold, the silver. I haven't tried those yet though. That's on my to-do list. So I'll do the waterproof one as well. So I'm just going to go round one side of the ears, like so, and a little bit round the top of his head, and a little bit around his nose. I'm just going to put in a bit of the orange just around there. And the thing about watercolour pencils is they're really forgiving, especially the Derwent ones. So if you don't get your lines perfectly smooth, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to blend that out, and I can come back and add some pink when it's all dry. And come back and add a bit more brown for his body, and orange down here. And you can also layer them as well, so once you've wet them and dried them, you can always go back and add another layer. You can build up layers of glaze as well. They will react again a little bit, so that's one of the things you do want to bear in mind, that if you're doing like a really solid contrast. And the other thing is, if your paper's still damp, like it is there, you'll get a really deep amount of colour. So if you're struggling to get a good layer of colour down, you can actually work straight into the damp paper, and then you can still blend it out. Let's go a little bit round here. A bit round here, and a little bit just on over his nose. So as we said before, this one's no good for water, and neither is this one, so we can skip those two. And instead we can go back to our alcohol pens, and let's think. Can you pass me something that's a little bit orangey over there, Ian? There's an orange Copic at the top. I can see. I'm just going to go straight in with our ball pen, and again just going to flick. I do find the brush tips are better on the alcohol markers than the fine detail ones for blending, especially if you're just starting out. I mean, I've been colouring with alcohol markers probably the best part of 20 years. I say it quick. Yeah, over 20 years. That's just scary. I used to do lots of alcohol rendering. So.
And using the pens.
Yeah, and using the pens. Cheeky. Come in here. Flick down. But you also want to bear in mind your ink choices if you're going to use things like the glitter pens over the top, because they are water based. So if you'd used the alcohol resist one and then coloured it with alcohol pens and then put the glitter on top, you would then smudge your line work. I'm just going to blend that back in with a bit more orange. And go back to my, you can see why this one's running out, E21. And just put in a little bit down the nose and down the whiskers. And finally, just to finish it off, because there's a little flower there, there's another little pink. We can do the same on our little mail box. Right, I'm going to give them a little bit of a turn around the way so you can see a bit better. A bit of a highlight at the top. So all I'm doing is doing little flicks, certainly not being too precious about it. I'm just going to flick down his little ears. A little bit just between his ears and a little bit just down his nose. So now we can do more like a solid base for this one. So do a little tiny bit of shadow, like so, and blend it back. And because it's the legs behind, I'm just going to work the way around, so a bit dark, and going to blend it back with the orange. And finally his tail. And we can do the same because it's towards the back. So, as long as you overlap your colours, you should always get a nice blend. And if you find just to strengthen that colour you need to go all the way back, just go all the way back. And finally, to finish off, let's do there we go. Oh, I forgot this little simples. Okay, any questions? I'm making Citero Luna colour, which is perfectly fine by me. It's a great way to spend an afternoon.
No questions, I think.
No? Okay. I'm going to have to play more with my squid ink. Perhaps I should do a squid ink stream The resisting and things.
Yeah, call it Squink.
Squink. Is that going to be its new name, is it? Squink?
Squink.
Can you pass me the squink?
Pass you a Squink.
And then you're going to say, do you want black, white, gold or silver?
Alright.
Yep, I think so. We think. I just want to make sure there's no questions.
A bit fuzzy in the top corner there.
A bit fuzzy in the top corner.
Yeah, the focus on the iPhone's gone weird. I'm sorry, it's come back now.
Oh, sorry.
Right. Josie says it looks great. Okay, so happy with that?
Who would like me to do a more in-depth colouring video on doing fur and things like that? For most of like the little long form characters and that, you won't need it, but if you're looking at something a bit bigger, so if you want to work on flowers, we can do flowers, or if you have larger stamps like some of the Lesius Garda ones, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Great, so.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Mum would like me to do another one of those, wouldn't you, Mum?
Under the totem pole.
No, the toadstool.
And Tracy said yes as well. So.
Cool. We can do that and work on some bigger things.
Yeah.
Alcohol markers are brilliant for large scale projects, so they get a bit wasted when you do little.
Okay, and we'll try and sort out all the camera and where we can put it.
Yeah. I did wonder if you put it on the left hand side and took the cable under the desk, whether it might just be long enough.
Yeah. We'll sort it out today.
Yeah.
I'll play with the cameras. Right, well thank you all very much. Hope you enjoyed that feed. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Doing... And I know I should know.
So we are back tomorrow at 11.
And you're going to check?
Yeah, I'm going to check what we're doing tomorrow at 11
because at the moment I have no memory. So I do apologise if I seem a bit...
we should write them down, you know.
That's what the events are for in the planning craft page. That's where I write them down, but trouble is then you can't see it at the same time.
Let's draw. We're designing stamps tomorrow.
Yay!
So yeah, so tomorrow morning at 11 we're designing the stamps. That'll be on the computer, and then I take it we're doing something with the stamps in part 2 because you've got it as an all day.
Yes. Yeah, so we've got to cut them in the afternoon.
Yay.
So if you have the cricket stamping material, or if you have the brother stamping kit.
Oh, we're going to use the stamping kit, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Given that I don't know where my other one is, yeah.
Yeah, we'll use the brother one then. Tracy says yay. Okay. Alright, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Don't forget, is Pete on today at 4?
No.
No, he's not.
No.
Okay, so Pete's not on at 4, so we'll be back tomorrow at 11. Sometime in the morning. Yeah. Sometime tomorrow. Yeah. Do have a good day, stay safe everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Tracy says you don't have the stamping kit, but we'll watch. And Tracy is excited. So I'm just reading the book.